Good evening, everyone. Hope you all are having an awesome week. Thanks for tuning in to our midweek Bible study this week. Hope you all are staying safe at home and staying coronavirus free these days. But tonight, I want to jump right into the topic of change. Now, I know change might seem like a scary word. And to be honest, I'm right there with you anytime I hear the word change. My wife and family could tell you that personally I'm kind of a creature of habit. I have a set routine on how I go about a lot of different things. However, I want to look at change just a little bit differently tonight. I don't want it to seem like something scary. So I want to start off with a story. I'm a huge sports fan, and especially a huge basketball fan. So I want to take your minds back to March 16th, 2018. The clock's winding down in the second half, and the buzzer sounds. History's just been made. For the first time ever, a number 16 seeded University of Maryland at Baltimore County, UMBC, just upset a number 1 seeded Virginia Cavalier basketball team 74-54. Now, for those of you who don't really watch a whole lot of basketball, a whole lot of the NCAA tournament, how it works is there's 4 different brackets made up of about 16 teams each. And they play several games throughout the month of March and I guess in the 1st of April. The number 1 seeded teams are the highest, 16 seed being the lowest seed possible, obviously. So since the tournament had began in 1939, the 16 seed had never beaten a number 1 seed ever. So if my math's correct, I believe that's about 81 years. So we're looking at kind of an upset that's a huge deal. Some of the starting lineup that night for the Virginia Cavaliers basketball team during the upset was guys by the name of Isaiah Wilkins, Jack Salt, Ty Jerome, Kyle Guy, and Devin Hall. I want you to hold that thought right there. Let's jump forward 1 year later. Time's running out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this same Virginia Cavalier basketball team has just won the NCAA championship 1 year later. It was on April 8th, 2019. Some of the key players to that game were guys I just read off: Kyle Guy, Jack Salt, Ty Jerome, etc. So I'm going to stop right here and let me ask you, what changed? We're talking about the same exact basketball team, basically, give or take a few different players. You don't go from being subject to the worst loss in NCAA history to winning the championship the very next year without changing somehow. The head coach of the Virginia Cavaliers basketball team at the time was a guy by the name of Tony Bennett. And going into the tournament the year after, he had just been beaten in one of the worst losses ever. He had the nerves going. Definitely had a big burden weighing heavy on him because he knew he had a great basketball team again that year. And they also, the year they won the championship, were number 1 seed as well. So going to all throughout the tournament, his heart was just heavy. You know, he knew his team could beat any team they faced. So a few hours before the tip-off of that championship game, Coach Bennett's phone buzzes in his pocket. And it's a text message. It's from a different coach at a different school and even of a different sport. It's his friend over at Clemson University, the Clemson football coach, Dabo Swinney. He had one message for his friend, Tony Bennett. He said, "Let the light that shines in you be brighter than the light that shines on you. So tonight, I want to ask each of you watching this video, first, how have you changed as a Christian? Since becoming a Christian, how have you changed? And first, is your light in you still shining bright? When you look throughout the Bible, you can see all sorts of examples of change. Especially when you look, I think on the top of my head, you got several different name changes. So Simon to Peter, Saul to Paul, Jacob to Israel, and even Abraham and Sarah's names were changed. So we see name changes. And some of those name changes happened whether, either they overcame something by trusting God, or because they completely changed the life they were living. Look at Saul and Paul. God used these people's lives to bring other people closer to Him. And for us personally as Christians, once we're baptized and our sins were washed away, we're required to change from our old ways and to live a new Christian life. So my quick challenge tonight for everyone this evening watching this video is don't be afraid of change. But let the change be for the good, for striving to become closer to God and not going the other direction. I know right now we're dealing with a lot of changing times, but we can practice a lot of Christian patience and tolerance during these times and show our light to others during the world. So continue to let that light shine bright. If there's anything that anybody, the elders or myself, or any questions you have or just ever need to talk, be sure to reach out. You guys have a good night.